Listen. Are you listening? Would you listen to me if I wanted to talk to you today about listening? I pray and hope, and I hope and pray that you would listen and so learn to listen. Listen. There was a doctor called D.A. Ironside. Dr. D.A. Ironside often spoke of the pathetic situation of those who felt they had a gift of preaching, but he complained that no one had a gift of listening. Did you just hear that? Though we preach sometimes and people might not listen, I will wish to join my voice to that of Dr. D.A. Ironside to see it is equally a pathetic situation not to have the gift of listening. Pathetic situation simply means it is a pity. What my people in Solan here would funnily or in an amusing way say it is a shammenzen situation. So let me say it this way. Dr. D.A. Ironside often spoke of the shammenzen situation, the pitiable situation of those who felt they had a gift of preaching but complained that no one had a gift of listening. If you have not understood this even, then you must have heard and understood that listening is a gift. And that is what we wish to briefly reflect on this day. And we are inspired to do so by today's Psalm number 81, verses 10 to 15. Let there be no foreign God among you, no worship of an alien God. I am the Lord your God who brought you from the land of Egypt. But my people did not heed my voice, and Israel would not obey. So I left them in their stubbornness of heart to follow their own designs. Or that my people would listen to me, that Israel would walk in my ways. At once I would subdue their foes, turn my hand against their enemies. And the response to this psalm is, I am the Lord your God. Listen to my warning. Dear friends, if you have never reflected on God's gift to you to hear, then think of the man we encounter in today's gospel reading from Mark chapter 7, verses 31 to 37. Verse number 32 says, they brought to Jesus a man who was deaf and could hardly talk, and they begged him to place his hand on the man. Jesus is presented as a man who listened to the pleas of people for help. And the text is about a man who could not hear as you hear me speak right now. When the sounds of nature sang forth, he could not hear their beauty. He could not hear the birds sing or the cocks crow. He could not hear the waters fall. When men carried on conversation, he could not participate. When strangers spoke loudly to him to help him hear, it only added to his embarrassment. He could only sit as deaf in stone silence. Your ears may be intact, yet you do not listen. Most of us do not have a problem with the faculty of hearing, but even a greater number has a problem with listening. I am talking of those who speak before they listen. No, listen before you speak. The story has been told of a new commander who was sent to an army force on the American frontier. He soon was involved in a conference with an important Indian chief. Working through a translator, he nervously asked the chief a number of questions and was surprised to get no reply. After the meeting, he asked the translator why he had gotten no response. The translator replied, that's what we call Indian time. He has enough respect for your questions to go away and think about them before answering them. Maybe, dear friends, we all need to practice more Indian time. Let it be clear to us that listening is not just passive hearing. It is an active participating experience in which you pay genuine attention to what the other person is saying. I have with me here some guidelines cited by Cecile Osborne in her book, The Art of Getting Along with People. So here are some principles that should help you become a better listener. 1. Do not grab the conversation. Yes, now take me for example, do not say things like that when you speak to people. 2. Do not let your gaze wander from the other person's face, except momentarily. When someone is talking to you, do not be looking the other way. Number 3, validate the feelings of others. When you speak with someone, use expressions like, yes, I see what you mean, I understand. I now understand. 4, do not interrupt. Yes, do not interrupt when someone else is talking. 5, do not try to top the other person's story or joke. Number 6, do not criticize when someone is telling you something. Number 7, ask appropriate questions. What happened then? Or how did you feel? Those are good and appropriate questions. And number 8, do not argue. If you want to get along with people, practice some of these principles. Learn to listen to people, but then also learn to listen to God. That is why they touched your ears at baptism, using the words Jesus used when he touched the deaf man's ears. Ephata, be opened. Israel, as we heard in the psalm, did not listen. So God left them in their stubbornness of heart to follow their own designs. God can leave you on your own when you no longer listen to him. Solomon listened to his foreign wives instead of listening to God, and so he worshipped their gods. And in today's reading, God promises to take away the 10 kingdoms from him and give to Jeroboam. When you listen to God, he watches your back. Listen to God. Listen to your preachers. Listen to others' pleas for help. Learn to listen when others speak. God bless you, the Father and the Son and the Holy Spirit.